Can you
There
hear me
it is.
now?
I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay.
I started. You'll have to excuse the double screen here. I started recording this already. This was the recommendation from somebody because Zoom blew out my last couple of recordings.
Oh, nice.
All I got was the chat session on my old-fashioned, old-school panel discussion. It was an epic
Lovely.
discussion, 2 hours. So, hi,
That's
Cass.
not good.
I
Hi, how
know.
are you?
I miss your face.
I miss your face.
I
I
miss
miss
your
don't we just miss humans? Like,
Yes. You know what? Yes,
oh,
we do. Yes, we do. And I don't have to have a
well,
mask on
some
to talk to
humans.
you. Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for adding that. That actually matters. I didn't know if I didn't give it to you in time, but I wanted to just go with the description that I typed into this box for this
Okay.
because I'm not I didn't give anybody else the link. I wanted us to be able to talk and record this on our own without an audience, and then I'm
And
going to
then me
upload
go,
it.
oh my God, can you erase that part?
And then I'm gonna upload it and let everybody watch it.
Okay.
But in the meantime, you should probably be privy to what I said about you. So excuse me while I work my laptop in the background
Okay.
here because it was the only way. It was just the only way. All right. But the quality of a portal, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Facebook Portal right now. It follows you around the room. You feel like a movie star, the whole thing.
Very nice.
It's crazy. All right, let me see. My account. That's where I should find it. Should be a description in there. It'll say it's in session, of course. Oh, I don't want to see my profile. Here we go. Where are my meetings? Boy, I'm just going to suck up half our time looking for stuff on the computer. There we go. Yeah. Now. Oh, well, that's not it either. Anyway, what mainly I wanted to get you on here because what I wanted to let folks know was, anytime we have a gathering or anything like that, you step up and you show up and you bring like this shine to the atmosphere.
Aw, thank you.
So like, and I don't get a chance to acknowledge people often because, anytime I'm there at a gathering or something, I'm torn 100 different ways and I turn into an instant spaz socially, so, my attention span is 3 seconds long, and I hovercraft, but
Totally
I watch and I feel people's energy because I'm all hippie like that. But when you walk in, there is a shine. So like it or not, you bring that, no matter how much, somebody tells you that sometimes, it's hard to absorb that. Right. Well, absorb that because it matters. And when we invite you to come to a gathering or whatnot, you never hesitate. And regardless of what kind of a star you are out there with all your awards for being an author and whatnot, what I see is you walk in and you're adding to the presence and the visibility and the relevance of the Butch Femme community today.
I hope so. I hope that yeah, I mean, that's part of why you create, right? You're a creator, is people want to find themselves in your work or want to find joy in your work. And if you can't bring that, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons,
Amen. It comes with a certain degree of humility instead of ego. Yeah.
True.
And that humility is because sometimes, when we're writing, we're mirroring sometimes pieces of ourselves. So right. Whatever we do with the characters might be disclosing, right?
Right.
I had a traveling journal. It's been stopped in Australia since COVID, but one of the things that I wanted to talk to people about, I wanted people to journal a week in their life as how their life intersects with their identity on an everyday basis. But for you, that's really a full-time thing.
Sometimes you forget a little bit, right? Like I'm just me, and you walk into a room and forget that you are whatever little compartment of your life you are, right? I forget that I'm an author. I forget that I'm a partner. I forget that I'm, gay. I forget all of those things until somebody kind of relates it to you and you're like, oh yeah, that's, that's a thing, right?
Yes.
And the joy of living left coast, we get to forget that a little more. I go back east and I remember, suddenly it's a thing and you're like, oh yeah, I get to be judged for that, or I get to be qualified for that.
Yeah.
And so actively participating in community, whatever that community looks like, whether it's 2 people that you adore and could stand in a room with, or it's 100 people that need to find their own sense of community. Do you have time for a tiny story?
Yes.
When I did Silicon Valley Pride a couple of years ago, last year before COVID, and a father came up with his clearly 11 or 12-year-old daughter and said, do you have any young adult books? And I said, well, I don't write those, and please God, don't let her read mine. But he said, I want to get her books that she can find herself in. And, I said, that is so awesome. And when you look back at your own kind of growing up and your own childhood, no matter how accepting your parents were or factions of your family were, it just wasn't the same 30, 40 years ago, right? There wasn't a parent going to Pride with you going, here, let me find books for you.
Right.
And he
said,
if
I may, that especially applies to those who don't actually walk out the door looking gay.
Correct.
Like the butch and masculine and stud folk, for folks like yourself, there's this another shade and layer to it.
You come out every day, right? And so he just looked at me and he said, can I give you a hug? Again, before COVID, when people did that sort of thing. And
I miss hugging.
Right?
I think it's an extreme sport for me,
Well, I think it should be. I think everybody, we've lost a connection a little ways. And that's kind of where he was. And he said, can I give you a hug? And I said, sure. And he said, it's the most important thing in my life is that my kid knows that loving and being loved is way more important than the receiver of any of it. And I burst into tears like a big baby because you don't see that every once in a while. And I looked at this kid and I went, damn, lucky kid, right?
Yes.
Because you've got a dad that's
thinking the same thing. Whoever that dad is out there, shout out.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent. Sorry.
No, this is why I've got you on here. I want you to be able to just wander. Your character influence probably comes from, Delilah, really. That's our baby. She's 15. Yeah.
She's allowed to do whatever she wants.
She's ruined. So she walks in the back door, like her instant needs need to be met. So, character influence, it comes from family, other books you read, television, community gatherings. Have you ever been at a gathering and gotten inspired by interactions with someone there?
I think so. I tend to have a little bit of a photographic memory, right? So I snapshot people. And as I'm writing, usually maybe a certain look or a certain outfit or a certain style or a manner of speaking or something I can find in my character because I've got that snapshot in my brain. Does that make sense?
Yes. Someone's swagger might.
Absolutely. Yeah. Somebody's like piercing green eyes for the most cliche of references, but somebody's, mismatched plaid pants with their striped shirt and, green tie, and you're going, holy cow, but you're going to be this really interesting character in my next book.
I'm going to give you a name.
Yeah.
Well, I actually was wondering, I know that for me, some of my most inspirational times end up being in the wee hours when it's dark. There's no noise pollution, light pollution. If I'm doing black light art, I've got black lights on them in the shed. If I was writing, do you have a favorite time and place to write?
So I used to live very close to the water, and no matter rain or shine, I would take my little laptop and I would go and find myself kind of a tent and I would sit and write. So that's my favorite. It seems like as much as we've all stayed home and life has simplified, it's become less simpler, less than ever. So I think it's when I have time versus when I have place. And I do go to sleep sometimes, and the way I kind of unwind my mind, I know you're probably the same, is it doesn't actually shut off at any point. We just kind of succumb to the passing out phase.
Yes.
Sometimes
we talk about this last week. Yeah. Twice I passed out with my ice cream and it turned upside down on me.
Oh no, that's not good. But I think I go to sleep and I kind of play the story in my head and hope I can get to that next scene or that next place. But most of the time it's like, oh my God, I've got an uninterrupted, theoretically, 4 hours, where I can just sit down and throw it out there. And that's, unfortunately, it's as unromantic as that is. It's time now. It's just feeling like I've got this span of time that I can go and be selfish with.
And it's in there. Yeah. See, yeah. If I pull away to go have some me time, I feel selfish because, we have this volunteerism that we started over 12 years ago that turned into a full-time job and a monster of a thing. And it's an everyday thing. And taking time to myself now, I feel very selfish that I'm not giving it to the community every single day. I'm not in the group that day. I'm not watching a thread. I'm not clicking like on someone's stuff. I'm not making people feel welcome. I'm not doing pending members. And I feel selfish, because I might be running around with my camera, or something and chasing rainbows. I'm finding ways to let go of that so that I can, because you know why? I think that you and I can both attest to this. If we don't do some of our own self endeavors and explore our own channels like that, we're really no good to the people that we may be hosting and leading, and we'll become stagnant, and that's
my favorite saying that's going on my next t-shirt. I know I sent my last one to your wife, I believe, but my next one is, my favorite saying, it is not necessary to set yourself on fire to keep each other warm, to keep someone else warm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? If we spend our life,
I love that,
setting ourselves on fire, we're just so other people are okay.
Yes. Yep. I am scorched. Yep. And self-scorched, if I may. I mean, nobody's forcing me to. I just do it. And
can't blame anybody but ourselves, right?
You've got this new book.
I do.
And it's on pre-sale. Did it release? I've lost myself over the last
October
month,
the 1st.
as you can understand.
There it is. There it is.
See, I love that cover.
I know. I'm kind of in love with the cover too. So October the 1st, it came out, limited release. October the 10th, general release. So it is out there in the world. Let
people know what your social media channels are.
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I have Sellars.com, where you can get books, signed books and t-shirts. And then of course, Amazon and all the other Bold Strokes Books is my publisher. You can get the books there. Of course, any major bookseller is carrying it. So it's out there.
It's out there. All right.
The baby has been born.
I feel like, our community, I'm always into, we support each other and all that, but this is different. This is your community writing about your community. And it's just another angle. But on our feeds, we encourage people, which is different, to self-promote on our feeds. We want people to drop links to their stuff once a week. Like clockwork, we've got Aaron Wade and Morgan Elliott and Donna Rader. They drop their links into all our groups about once a week, because they are some busy media people. I don't know how they're doing it, but
I should be so much better than I am.
I don't often see yours, so I'm going to be posting something for you, but I want you and everybody else who's watching to know that a community is more than just gathering and talking about, you know, memes, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Online,
and
you know.
I am horrible at it, and every time I do it, I'm like, no one's going to want to know that. No, they saw it 2 months ago. You know, it feels all icky and selfish, and you know.
We have a large group on Facebook, and you know, it's built over time, so not all 22,000 plus are active at any given time. The insights will say 12 to 13 maybe active 1,000, but and you know, that doesn't mean everybody's engaging. It just means there's people who are catching stuff from the group, some content,
right?
And that means that there's a good audience there, and a good chance for some visibility for people who self-promote. So feel free to use the hell out of our feeds.
Well, and I shall, and I'm actually going to do a giveaway for a signed book. So maybe you can help me do that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we didn't get a chance to do, you know, our gathering recently, but and I'm not let that go. We're going to revisit that. Definitely. It was just wrong timing, and you know, we're going to have to train ourselves in that marketing and promotion thing. But
yeah, I know.
What else did I have? I had one more thing I wanted to ask you, which is you have well, I also wanted to make a note that, you know, you gave us your lightning series some time ago. Yes. And I want you to know that when we were living on the mountain at the time, we had about 5 years up there on 2 different properties way up in the boonies, Southern Humboldt County and Mendocino County. Those books took those moves and trips with us. And those books took some beating. They went through some hell, but they are sitting on the shelf in our restroom, actually, with, like, you know, rock hounding books and stuff. They are actually sitting in there with the same pile. I mean, but they look like they've been through it. So your books have experienced quite the adventure with us.
Awesome.
And it was like they got to witness some, you know, being inside of another book, traveling around with but now we're down in town.
Yeah. Now you're a little safer, right?
Save a fire and you know, living that slow life. So
well, I'm glad you're settled and safe. That was the main concern.
Yeah. You know me, I wandered off the beaten path all the time. And you know, because wild pigs, because wild turkeys, because vultures, because all these, you know, and now I'm rock hunting heavily. So
awesome.
I can't say rock hounding because I don't have enough knowledge apparently to call myself a rock hound, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But I love the cover of that book.
Thank you.
And it's part of me wanted to shine a black light on it to see if it's fluorescent active, because the colors are vibrant. I love that because off the shelf, you know, remember the days we used to walk into a bookstore?
And be attracted to a cover.
Yeah, that was immediate draw. I think the first one I had on mine I didn't like, and I ended up using a piece of my art and redoing it. So I
love it.
I changed it. Yeah. We're gonna.
It's nice to hold the baby, isn't it? When it comes to book box day.
It is. Like, I kind of handed it to somebody who didn't know what to do with it, honestly. So we're gonna probably republish under our own. And you know,
there's an audience for everything. And again,
bless her heart, love my publisher. She just didn't know what to do with it. I think bless her heart. I love her, but
I understand. I got it.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, by now I should have seen a few short stories made out of that thing, but you know, I'm busy. I am busy. I ain't got time for that right now. So
I know. How's the new site going?
Well, that's funny you should ask. We had our partner in town with us this last week, and everybody just pulling hairs out, trying to finalize the last things, finding out that some of the things we want to customize can't be done without recoding, and even if we did, it might not work right. You know, these systems and this software is all built on binary, and our goal is to be all inclusive of the diversity of identities that we all embrace. Our terms and language are important. This is where a lot of other dating sites have failed our community. You go in and, you know, you're not going to, you don't often find descriptors like a stud and transmasculine and high femme and stone identity.
Non-binary for that.
Non-binary, stone identity and whatnot. We were trying to make it multiple choice for the first field. And well, we weren't able to do that. We were able to go around that with an additional field on your profile that says, how else do you identify? And how else does your match identify? How many matches? So we have multiple choice there.
Nice.
So now we can't get it to show up in search, but it shows, but it actually connects itself to the My Matches tab.
Nice.
So that's where we're at right now. I mean,
very good.
These are like last minute things, and we're going to be doing a blast out promo, and like first 500 people will get, you know, a couple months free of the top tiers, that kind of thing. Nice. We're just, it's just a lot of work. And my wife, out of the three of us, my wife has been the one who has poured her most into this. First time ever doing this. And she spent the last couple months, she's probably sent into the developing team over 100 tickets.
Oh, they're like, here she is again.
Yeah, our partner was here, and they were like, I haven't said the partner's name because they haven't disclosed themselves yet. So, but they were here, and they said, watch this, and they said, look at my phone, and they scrolled up, and they were scrolling. They're being copied out on all of the tickets. And so
that's funny.
I'm remaining mostly. My eyes are staying on the groups because, frankly, that's where some of the clientele is going to come from. But I don't want to compromise what's going on there as far as, you know, what we do. And there's 5 of them. So between Sandra and I, we're focusing a lot on that. And the other 2 are splitting hairs over all the details of the rest. So
it's good to have the detail people.
You know, yeah, and there's just so much to it. It's our first time for any of us doing it, but it is one of the biggest needs for our community. And I know we have 2 dating sites, groups on Facebook, one for age 50 plus, and you know these folks, you know, they talk about their horrible experiences on other sites that don't, you know, really embrace you know, their identity, and us being the one community that we're like the table full of every plate is different kind of thing. You got everybody walking around with plates with nowhere to sit down, and our community ends up being the magnet that says, well, come on in and have a seat. You know, and I love that. I love that. And anytime we have a gathering, I'm able to get a little verklempt, and when I look around and see the diversity. We might have just 100 people there, but what I'm seeing is everybody's present and accounted for. When it comes to identity and race and just everything seems to be just what I pictured when I was a child. Nice. And then we have people like Cass and her partner who show up with art in hand and books and a shine.
Thank you.
Shine.
I appreciate it.
It matters.
It's easy too when you guys have great energy, and it's great to just sometimes just be excited about the little stuff, you know, and that's contagious. Yeah. So,
well, we had that retreat in this past May, and everybody loved it. Their biggest complaint was it needed to be an extra day. It was only 2 days. So we're going to do it again in May. The folks at Saratoga Springs were nice enough to take portions of our loss on this last event and actually apply it towards the deposit on next May's event. They really worked with us on that, so I want to appreciate them. I always have to give a little shout out to one of our community members. Has always been there for us as well. The owner of Natural Cannabis Company, patients and whatnot in the field. This woman started doing a dispensary 10 years ago, so women could have a safe place to go and buy their medicinal properties. That is encouraging, and there are now 3 of them, and they've been nothing but helpful to our community in the background. And I always got to give them a shout out for that. They just been, this is apparently one of their new ventures, shopmarijuana.com.
Oh, very good.
They're not paying me to do this. I feel like they're quietly in the background helping out, and I got to give them a shout out. So just like yourself, I really wanted to get you on here to talk about your new book and talk about you, and give you
Thank you.
a quick platform for that, because, well, that's kind of my new personal venture. I want to do panel discussions. I've got a big list, and I want to interviews. I've got
Anytime.
Getting Norma Lily Moyo from South Africa. We're going to be doing an interview next week. Talk about the new blog and informative educational things she's doing out there for our community, and the differences in what it's like for Butch Femme out there versus US. I can't wait to have that interview. That's going to be really cool too. So I want to thank you for taking this time, because I know that you've got other things to do. And
well, that is perfectly okay. And you know that anytime that you need anything, to let me know.
Oh yeah, we always do. Gas. We want you to interview. Gas.
Absolutely.
Gas, we're doing this thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna make me go on and try and do a little self promo, which I'm horrible at. So
it's okay, because and then I expect when I'm gonna upload this video, and I'm gonna post it to the group, and I'm gonna tag you. So yeah, I'm gonna put it up in a little featured section for a bit, and
all right,
put you on the spot, because
put me on the spot. Absolutely.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. People like you need to be on the spot.
Let's do a Q&A one day, maybe with
That's
Aaron
exactly
and
what it is.
Morgan
My
and
plan
Donna.
is to practice my way through gathering the audience on the YouTube live. I'm gonna try to and do the Q&A. That's gonna be great. They made me wait 24 hours to get on there, because I'd never gone on. I've had my channel 14 years. Wow. But they still wanted me to wait, so that's why I had to do Zoom today.
All right.
But thank you very much for doing this. We love the shit out of you and your partner, and just keep writing, and we'll keep having gatherings so you can pull some inspiration.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Inspiration from the spectrum of characters that we have that walk amongst us,
Exactly.
Jeez. All right. I think I can hit a button over here. I think. Yeah, there it is. All right. I'm clicking this, and it's going to send my recording to my downloads. Let us pray.
Okay. So we're not recording it. Where'd you go?